That's the one you wanted, right?
That was one you wanted?
Yeah, that's exactly what I asked. What can we say about Sub-Zero nowadays?
Well,
He's still blue.
he now has a special property when his aura is active that his EX slide will freeze you in the air. That works for EX aura. Anytime he has aura up, he will then lose the aura because he's using the collected ice energies of the aura to cause the freeze.
Passing it on to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But then he gets a combo. So that's pretty good, because that means his defense is already stronger with using the aura, and now if they go for any kind of projectile or zoning at all, or if they're trying to pressure him, he now gets a pretty good reward for it.
Yeah, same thing on Wake Up also.
Yeah, and that's now a much better wake-up attack, and pretty much, it's also a really fast move. You can actually use it for punishing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kano.
Kano got a lot of interesting changes.
Airball.
Airball is now
overhead.
overhead. It's now the best mix-up in the game.
Yeah, so from like certain distances, you can get it where it'll not do the ball part and then do the low, or and then also if you can do your inputs fast enough, you can actually do instant air balls as a quick overhead like surprise on people.
How much money did Tyler give you for all these changes?
Probably none.
None money.
None money.
None money was given.
None money.
The choke hit advantage is now a little bit better. Before, after you would do,
Commando.
yeah. Yeah.
See, look at Tyler.
Jumping ahead.
That's good. That's good.
The hit and block advantage on the knife slice is a little bit better. It's actually -6 now on block. So it's pretty hard to punish it. There's only a couple of X-rays that'll actually punish it. So you can sort of end your strings in that move. You'll be negative and they'll be able to hit you, but then you will be able to sort of do some block damage and then sort of like play your game. Kano's got a really good backdash, so that also plays in with his. You can sort of end your strings into that and then like backdash until you try to punish, and then you can punish the whiff recovery on whatever you try to hit you with.
Yeah, I think that knife move, kind of in the mid-range game, will really complement his footsie's game, which is like the kind of the mid-range back and forth. It's just a great long-range move. The EX1 is still punishable. It's just the regular.
Yeah. The EX1 is still the same with these combos.
The back one hitbox in Cutthroat is adjusted a little bit too. The range is still not the greatest, but he goes forward a little bit more when he does it. So you can use it more as an overhead.
Cool. Yeah, it's still got short range, but it'll usually generally hit when you think it was gonna hit.
Cybernetic got a change that I really like too. We're moving on to Cybernetic, obviously. The up laser, anti-air up laser, is now faster.
Yes, and that's something you've been using against Derek.
Yeah. You can actually, it's tough to do on read, but you kind of can. You can drop teleports down and use that pretty easily.
Oh, another change in Universal is the up ball will now hit on the first active frame. So that should be much better for punishing. Whereas before, even though it was, a 7-frame move?
Yeah, it actually was 7 frames, but he didn't move forward right away.
Right.
So it wasn't actually like hitting people, especially on like block recovery on 7 frames. Well, now it'll actually move faster and it'll actually connect on the 7th frame. So you can actually use it to like punish a lot of strings and stuff that it wasn't before.
Stuff that Tyler just doesn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have some pretty interesting
You do
changes.
3 things with Lena.
You
In
stay out of
Commando.
this. It's not
Commando
about us.
got a new string. It is 2-2.
It's an advancing screen.
It's a
too.
really good advancing string. And he got another new extension, back 1-3, 1+3, where he can actually do his back 1-3 and then go into the grab. And just like 3-2, he can meter burn it and get a combo. And he's one of the characters that benefits from the command grab changes, because now his tick throws are even more deadlier if he uses the EX grab, because on block there'll be a tick throw, on hit there'll be a combo.
Yep. That's good for Kano, yeah?
Yeah.
Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage, I think we can just talk about.
Yeah.
Sure. Johnny Cage, his down 4, the block stun is the block disadvantage is a little bit more. It's a little bit more negative. It's not like punishable now, but it's a little bit. He can't machine gun it quite as much. But what's good for him is his down 3 is one of them that was changed to be a little bit faster. So now he has a 7th frame down 3.
And his down 4 is already pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely still a really good move.
Yeah.
It's explosive like.
His jump 2 also was adjusted a little bit to hit a little bit more consistently against crouching characters. There were a couple of characters that had their jump 1s and jump 2s adjusted like that. And then there are a few changes for fisticuffs, which are pretty cool. The speed bag move, the back one, has a little bit faster startup. And then once the speed bag is active, it activates a little bit faster. And then once you actually have it going, it does two things. His throw becomes the 17% Red Shadows throw that he has, where he punches you a bunch. And then all the hits of the speed bag now do more damage. They do 3 instead of 2.
Yeah, and
so,
also more chip damage.
Right. So he can actually get some really good meterless damage with the speed bag combo when he has that buff active.
Awesome.
And if they're choosing to block because they're afraid, you do a 17% throw.
There you go. That's not too bad.
Where are we at on the list? Cassie Cage.
Cassie, her flip kick is 1 frame slower.
Oh gosh.
Does that qualify as ruined, or
Yeah, that
or
move
does
is
it
now.
qualify exactly?
Put her in the dumpster, folks.
I will check the stream chat to see what they think of 1 frame.
Yes, that 1 frame. Before she could punish some moves with a full combo that other people couldn't, and that's now been slightly normalized. It's now actually still probably the fastest combo starter in the game, but the EX one also lost its armor. It's
Hold
now.
on, 1 second.
What?
One guy just wrote, more like fisted buffs.
Oh, that was good. I
Cool.
mean, like puns.
I'll continue on the Twitch chat. You guys go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, the EX flip kick no longer has armor. It's still safe. It's still, really, really fast.
Yeah, so it's more generally you can use it to end your strings, and sort of like if you're going for a higher low, you can just automatically do the expert click and be safe on block to get away. It's not really meant to be used as a just armored like 7 frame launcher.
Okay, so stream chat ruined, totally ruined, blank ruined. Sonya is ruined. That's not even the right character.
Yeah, that's.
So
That's-
there we
Well,
go.
maybe it offends her mother.
Maybe
It's so deep, her
Maybe
family's
that's a fortune
offended.
teller also.
that could be. It could be.
The other thing about the nut punch is the nut punch hit advantage no longer varies based on height.
Yeah.
Before, the higher up you were, the more advantage Cassie has, and that's no longer the case. And
In the brawler variation, she has enhanced versions of her grabs, which just do more damage, but those will also connect on hit inside the combos.
and they have armor.
Yeah, and they have armor now. Yeah.
Cool.
So she lost 1 of her armor, but Brawler gained 2 more armor. Yeah. And then lastly, the input for her back 2 was changed, where the last part is 2+4 instead of 1+2.
Yeah, that should make it a little easier to do on pad, and also make it where if you're mashing really fast, you won't get interactables.
Good. Awesome.
People ask for that. That's great.
Yeah.
Jackie Briggs.
Jackie had a really, really good change where her back forward 2, just the regular one, is now less punishable. I think it's only slightly negative now.
Yeah.
And then the really big thing is the EX one is now basically safe. They both have a little bit more pushback and they're both less negative, so that gives her a much better armored move. She now can wake up with a mid that does a pretty decent amount of damage and it's safe. And in the neutral game, she can use that and be safer too, and you get pushed back.
Yeah, and similar to Kenshi, she had a lot of like hitbox changes on a lot of her attacks, and she had a lot of hit advantage frames on a bunch of her attacks that, and then because of that, that'll lead to her being able to continue pressure on people, and it also leads to slightly easier combos to do in high tech.
Yeah.
With like the run cancels, you'll be able to do a lot of her strings into run cancels and continue the combos easier now because she's more hit advantage after a lot of her attacks.
And there's also increased hit advantage on the straight shotgun. Before, she basically got no hit advantage at all. Now she can kind of go in for a mix-up.
Yep.
She's not guaranteed like a huge mix-up, but now it's a little bit more for her to work with. And her 2-3 string, the last hit, is now a low.
Nice.
Okay, that's cool.
We don't want to skip Scorpion.
No.
We're gonna get to that in a little bit. Yep.
All right, I'm just gonna wait.
I have
this
here.
Well, see, I don't have that list.
No,
You should share that list with everyone.
I prepared it. Paul has seen it and Steve has seen it.
All right.
Kung
Moving right
Jin,
along.
Kung Jin just has one change. His big leg is now more advantage on block. His forward 4. That's really it.
He's had a couple of small frame changes on some of his strings. There were a couple of strings that were +2 that are +1 now or neutral. And then a few hitbox fixes where some things would miss ducking points, but those have been fixed also.
All right, Tanya.
All right, Tanya. Across the board, we'll start with Kobujitsu. Kobujitsu, the EX Rekka, the armor has been removed. She no longer has armor leading into more mix-ups. And the EX Tonfatos is now neutral on block. It no longer guarantees more block strings. Just you can't like loop it over and over again. Her back one is also slower by 1 or 2 frames.
Yeah, I think it's 11 now instead of 10 on the back one.
And but the good news is in Dragon Nana, a couple of moves do more damage. Her big upward one and her medium big poke that goes across the screen, those do a little bit more damage. And then Pyromancer, her fireball recovery has been decreased quite a bit.
So Tanya generally changes this. Generally, the gameplay stays the same. It's just some things have been like normalized to sort of work with like within like the constraints of all the other characters. She's you won't be able to do Rekka now as both like an armored move to go against pokes. You can more use it now to like stagger your strings instead of, and you have to use her other armored moves.
And then hopefully, I think it'd be cool if the Tanya players started exploring the other two variations more now. And yeah.
Who we got next, Derek?
I think we should do a Sonya Scorpion match since I blew the cover on Scorpion. My bad.
It's fine. It's fine.
Is it?
I'm okay with it.
All right. Sound a little moody.
I'm moody.
Well, while it's loading, I guess you can talk a little bit about Sonya's grenades because they've gone through a lot of changes.
Yeah, the grenades before they would actually bounce in the ground and they would use like physics, and then with the new rollback online code, the grenades just sort of go and then they hit the ground and they stay there because just in general the way those were coded wasn't really rollback friendly. So that move's been reworked a little bit, but like frame wise it behaves exactly the same as it did before. Same thing with hitbox and stuff. So in general all the combos you could do before are still there, and there's actually a few new ones you can do with the enhance the reload because they hit more consistently now instead of bouncing around. There's new combos you can do and they'll always work the same.
Awesome.
Gotcha.
Her reload, when she reloads grenades, she grabs the grenades 5 frames faster than she did before. The recovery in the thing overall is the same, but that'll let you sort of just reload grenades at will. And even if you do get punished for it, you'll have grenades then. When then on wake up, you got the wake up grenade roll, and then it'll give you grenades. So that'll just having grenades makes her a much more dangerous opponent.
Which means doing a reload, knowing you're probably going to get punished, but you're going to have the grenades, is a very valid strategy that I use all the time. There was also a problem in the beta that it's worth mentioning where her EX reload would always shoot 3 no matter what. That's been fixed. That was not like an intended balance change. That's something that is going to go back to the way it used to be.
Yeah, there were a few of those, like the Hellfire Scorpion. He was actually able to do 2 auras in one combo. There were a lot of those small little bugs in the beta that were just there because a lot of the characters were being reworked for the rollback online code.
Also, the scaling on her grenades has been increased. There were some of the really good players found some awesome stun grenade combos with using multiple stun grenades, and now those will now do significantly less damage.
Yeah, but all the combos still generally work, and they're the same. There's actually new ones you can do.
So Scar's not going to be too upset by this.
I don't think he'll be too upset. As a Sonya player myself, I'm really happy with
No
her.
longer does 80%.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's going to have to settle for a little bit less.
75.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Scorpion.
Scorpion and Ninjutsu went through a lot of changes. This forward 2,
Which one
this second hit.
Will you turn Paulo on, please?
Second hit is now an overhead, so it's now unblockable.
Yeah, and they'll let you mix up like the takedown, which is still like not safe on block. So a lot of times you just do that, and you can like sort of leaves them a little bit more of a mix up, but it's still like something you can only do at certain ranges and end up close. It's not the fastest move, so it just gives them a little bit more options, and it makes Ninjutsu a little bit more dangerous than it was before.
Yeah, I love the second hit being an overhead.
Yeah, it's one of those things where every top player claims, I'll never get hit by that, and they'll 100% be hit by it in pools.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And the nice thing about takedown is the hit advantage has been increased greatly. Before, Scorpion actually recovered after the opponent when a takedown hits. That's no longer the case. You can see how quickly Paulo was able to jump over her after it. That wasn't possible before. Scorpion actually had to block some people's wake attacks, but that's not going to happen now. And he can also special cancel the second hit of his sweep in Ninjutsu. It's one of the only sweeps in the game that's 2 hits, and he can actually go into a special move when it hits. Which before, he basically breaks the rules of the game now.
Isn't that what he always does?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
he's known to do that. And then his 2-1-4 now has advantage on block,
But
but it has a gap in it.
there you go.
So, a lot of people, when the game first came out, really liked the pressure than Hellfire he could do with the run cancels. That's kind of back, but it's a little bit more balanced than it was before because you have to guess. His 1-1 and his 2-1 also have a little bit more advantage on block.
Yeah, he's had a few frame changes, some of the other moves, so that'll also let you do some kind of different fireball like run cancel pressure that you can do before. His attack 3 is a little bit faster on startup, so you can actually use it as like sort of like a little bit of an anti-air and just like a general whip punish, so it's pretty fast. does more damage than a normal jab would, and you can just sort of poke it out there and cancel it and stuff.
Cool. I just saw on stream chat, someone says they have to go. Where's Erron Black? So let's just do it right now.
Okay, okay.
Sonic Fox?
No, this is not.
Okay.
This is fan service right now.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
We're not going to answer everybody for that, though. So this guy gets his Erron Black right now.
Do you want to go to? Do you want to actually?
We should probably
warm
make
up?
sure that guy's not making us skip over Scorpion stuff, but I think we're done.
That's true. That's true.
No, it looks like all the Scorpion stuff.
Well, you can look at the patch notes later and see if this guy.
Yeah. Now he
Who do you want him to fight?
let's do anybody really. So, somebody. I don't mind.
What? Maybe a new character?
Let's do
Sure.
Ferra.
Fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
Alright.
the new Ferra.
So the really cool thing about Erron Black is his command grab has really been changed. Can you kind of talk about what you were going for with this command grab? Because there's a few things better about it.
Yeah, it actually reaches a little further than it did before, and the startup on it's faster. So you're gonna just spring it out there and get on people. So it works as more of like an actual long-range tackle, as opposed to just something you were just mixing up in the middle of your strings, where somebody had a guess whether or not they were gonna jump to poke out of it. So you can sort of do it almost at like round start range. So that will generally just make opponents be ducking at ranges, and then they'll let you go for his overhead and stuff. It just makes them a little bit of a different plane than it did before.
How much further to go now? Would you say was it?
Like it'll hit. It'll hit here.
10%? I guess so, yeah. It's something where it'll hit around start, but before it would have.
Right.
Like the new.
And the advantage on hit is a little bit better, and it's a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And his EX Sand Grenade is now slightly less advantage on block than it was in the regular X, but more than it was in the beta. A lot of Erron Black players were really upset in the beta when it went way, way down, and it's now kind of a happy medium to where
Yeah,
it was
it was
before.
actually something where it was like in progress in a lot of his changes.
Right.
Where a lot of these characters were, at different points in the beta, they were just at different points in their balance passes over the last probably 5 months since we've done like a full balance pass in the game.
Another thing is he has a faster down one. He's one of those characters that had an 8-frame down one before, now it's 7. That'll help a little bit more. And then similar to Jackie, the hit advantage on some of his normal attacks has been increased a little bit, and that'll make marksman cancels a little bit easier.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah, that actually makes them quite a bit easier. With a lot of like he actually probably had some of the hardest like rank cancel combos. Where now it's pretty much on par with the other characters.
Cool.
Torr.
Torr has a couple of new moves. Ruthless and Vicious have EX versions of the low girl toss and the overhead girl toss, and they pop up for combo. The downside to them is they're very negative on block. They're like pretty much full combo punishable if you do them up close. But they're really good from full range and up close if you want to take a risk and use them.
So even on whip also they'll be negative on block. So something there where you can actually like punish that if they go for it. So it's not something you can just do in the middle of your string. You just have to know if you're going to correctly punish something with those. Same thing with the low. It's something you can't just throw out there, but it gives them some new combos that he couldn't do before.
And in Vicious, the boss toss now has an EX version that reaches the entire screen and does really good damage.
That's awesome. Thrower.
Can we see that?
Yes, for
I
sure.
really want to see that.
It's more of a launch at this point.
I think you had told me that, but I'd forgotten. So
Yeah,
this is cool.
it's awesome.
What do you think about going back to Fair Tour now?
Yeah, Fair Tour Jason is sort of my thing now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So that's regular.
So the normal one goes about the same distance it did before, but then like full screen, the enhanced version,
There we go.
and it does a little bit more damage too.
That's awesome.
The active frames of the overhead toss have been adjusted a little bit to not hit as low.
Yeah, so if you were doing a string on block into this thing, and they did a backdash, like try to get out of this, if you can get it right
There.
it would actually, she was actually active while she was on the ground, so it would actually make it where you couldn't backdash that move. So now you can read a backdash a lot of the strings into that move, and you'll actually be able to like whip punish them for just throwing her out there.
Cool.
And then Lackey has some pretty cool changes too. The roll is now a much better move. The roll will now combo and hit and is much harder to punish. It's still punishable if they block it absolutely point blank, but from further range it's less punishable and he can get some combos with it.
Yeah, so in general, if you ever hit somebody with trouble, you can get a down one, because he's got one faster, longer reaching down ones in the game.
However, the down one without Ferra is now slightly more negative on block.
Yeah, he's had a few frame changes here and there for a lot of his strings, but he's still one of the better like pressure pressure heavy characters in the game. But like his down 1 was like I believe it was +2 on block retail.
It was something crazy. And now it's a little bit more normalized. Still has great range. It's still super fast. And he cannot use 4-2 twice in the same combo.
Yeah, that was something that at some point you were able to like double cancel these. Where now it's back to where it was in release, where you can't do combos with 2 of these in one combo. But because of like some of his other frame changes, they're like especially with the roll, you can do newer combos now, which is it'll vary up the combos a little bit, and it'll also make it where you just can't do that move twice in one combo.
Cool. Let's run to the character select screen again. So where were we?
We were just at Fair Torr.
We were.
Yeah.
We have to go back to Predator.
Predator. Predator's got a few changes. In Hishka 10, the lasers do slightly less damage across the board. I think every laser attack, right?
Yeah, every blade attack either does 1 or 2 less damage.
And some of his cancels into the laser are now slightly less positive, so he doesn't get some guaranteed block strings that he used to get. The cool thing, though, is in Warrior, the back fist, the back forward 1 back fist, is now significantly faster,
Yeah.
both regular and EX.
Yeah, it'll give Warrior like an actual like wake up you can use just because like one of his things is there are a lot of characters like Jax that will just be able to poke out a lot of his wake ups, but like if you play Warrior, you can now use the backhand to like wake up.
Yeah, it really kind of fills a hole in Predator's overall gameplay and makes you want to use that variation. And the self-destruct move has a little bit starter fast up, or a little bit faster, a little bit faster
Starter fast up.
There'll be some different setups you can do. You can end combos with it where you'll actually be able to get it off safely and then be able to run in and then use the explosion as pressure on block. Or if it hits, then you get a big combo out of it.
Cool. And Shinnok?
Lord Shinnok now has the same change that Kenshi did with his teleport. An imposter, he can choose to go for a jump in punch or jump in kick by holding forward. And the bone hands on the unblockable or the hand splats you, that is now faster startup and more importantly, faster recovery. He now recovers, he comes out of it much, much faster. He can go for like another one or go for a mix up or try to catch them trying to jump out or something like that.
Is it like GGA Jeremiah like spam?
Yeah, like basically Jeremiah would absolutely body Cat using this squash thing.
Cool.
Praise Lord Shinnok. Moving on.
Liu Kang.
Oh, and his uppercut is now high instead of a mid.
That's not on the page.
Okay.
Does that qualify as ruined?
Yeah,
Yes.
that he's. Yeah, all the Shinnok players are gonna have to switch to Leatherface now. Like he's done.
All right, Liu Kang.
Liu Kang just got a few. In Duelist, the damage buff where you can charge up, it no longer goes away on hit. It actually, no matter how much he's hit, it gets to go through the whole timer. And the meter burn bite kick, or flying kick, I mean, in variation 2 has decreased block advantage by just a little bit. I think it's neutral now instead of plus.
All right.
Cool. Ermac.
Ermac, his forward 4-3 is an overhead. It does decent damage. It's now safe. It used to be full combo punishable. So now he has a safe option that's he's not going to get like a huge combo off of it, but he can choose to either cancel into a special move and take a risk, or just go for the safe option, which will really help him out. His 4-3-4, there was a thing in the beta where it was a block infinite for briefly if you didn't have meter in the corner. That's now fixed.
That wasn't part of the plan.
That was actually not part of his balance updates.
Ruined.
His back 2 charge, when he charges it up, is now a little bit more advantage on block on each of the different levels of how it can be charged up.
Yeah, so a lot of times where you'll knock somebody down and you'll be doing that where they're blocking on a wake up, and if you actually get to like the full charge version, he'll be a great advantage on block.
The back 1 is now faster, but it's been made a high. But it is significantly faster.
Yeah, and it'll even be even a better anti-air move that he can use to then really be able to confirm it as some of his bigger combos.
Yeah, and he even has newer combos because of this back 1 being faster. And then what's really cool for Spectral players, well actually all players, is the flight command has changed.
Yeah, it's down a block now, so it'll be little bit easier to do inside of strings. You'll be able to hit confirm some combos into flight and then into hits and then into teleporting and other stuff.
Some swaggy stuff.
Yeah, some swaggy.
And lastly in Mystic, the push and the EX push are much safer.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's big.
Yeah, that'll definitely help in this mid-range game keeping people out. You don't have to worry that you're going to get blown up if they block it.
So, drop some knowledge on Kotal Kahn.
Kotal Kahn only has a few. He's one of the many characters where his 4-4 big boot, his big leg has more block advantage. His jump 1 hitbox has been adjusted a little bit. It'll be a little bit easier to anti-air him. And then probably the big one is a lot of people have talked about how Kotal Kahn has a lot of trouble against the Ice Clone. Well, the Sundial now will break the Ice Clone.
Take that, Ice Clone!
Or go through it. No, it goes through it. Sorry, it goes through the Ice Clone.
Yeah, he's throwing a big ass disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's probably hot.
Yeah, it is. It's because it's sun.
Cuts
It's
right
got
through
sun
it.
energy.
Cuts right through it. Awesome. And,
Yeah, so not a lot of change for him, but he's one of those characters where, like, Sun God will get inherently better because of the changes to command grabs and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so
and
like-
Kotal's pretty good.
Yeah,
anyway.
Kotal's already really
Yeah,
good.
there's like a little bit of gameplay where in Sun God you can do some of his strings like the 114, and if you had meter, you could do something like back one and try to do a tick throw, and then if the back one hits, the enhanced command grab will actually connect now. And then because the command grab connected, you got some meter, and then you can use that meter into canceling into getting some life back. And then because you're advantaged, you can then go into a back one, and then it becomes a command grab mix up again. So there'll be a little bit of general gameplay changes where you'll be able to do a lot more mind games against people.
You lost me a long time ago. And Reptile?
Reptile, like Kotal, is already...
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, he's pretty solid, but Variation 1, the EX Invisibility has slightly more block recovery.
Cool.
And the Variation 2, the Speed Up move where he slows down time has faster startup. So you can do new combos with it. It's a little bit safer to go into activation of it. It's overall just a little bit better. That's really it for him.
Great.
And
We
then
did have, there were, I know some players were complaining about some bugs where some of the noxious stuff wasn't working in the beta. And some of that was just because a lot of that stuff was being recoded for the rollback code, which all that's been resolved now, so he should be back to working as normal.
Cool.
Devora, now there is faster start on the EX Ovipositor Strike. That was one of her key weaknesses was her only armored move is the Ovipositor Strike, and it had very slow startup. So a lot of characters like Jax, even Kotal, could stuff it before she could even get it out.
Yeah, but it's still something where the armor's only there up until the active frames, so it's something where you can read her, wake up, and still jump up and do a neutral jump punch, and then beat her with that, or jump over her for full combo.
It's also a little bit easier to punish on block.
Yeah.
So, armor is still going to be one of her key weaknesses, but it's a little bit better for her. But the good news for her is the Variation 1, the Broodmother, there's faster cooldown on the Crawler. And her back 3 big leg is a high and it's slower, but it's now significantly advantage on block.
Awesome.
Getting close to the end here. Raiden.
The
Lord
Thunder
Raiden.
God.
He's yet another character where his 4/4 big leg has more block advantage. His back 1/1, which is one of his fastest mids, it had kind of issues before where it would whiff against crouch blocking smaller characters. That's no longer the case. It's now a little bit lower to the ground. It has a better hitbox. In Variation 2, his forward 1-2, back 2 no longer has a gap. That was a move he got in a patch quite a while ago, but it had a gap.
In Master of Storms, the lightning traps stay out a lot longer than they did before. So a lot of times you'll be able to leave a lightning trap, and then later on you'll be able to do a setup into it where it's essentially, I think it's double now.
Yeah, it's really noticeable. Those traps are, I think, 10 seconds. It's something like that. They're really good now.
Great. I hope to see some more people play in the...
I've played PPJs.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really it angers me.
Yeah. Quan Chi. Quan Chi has a couple of buffs, as always. Faster startup.
Can't be a patch or a
Right. Quan Chi has been significantly buffed.
Oh, my days.
Faster startup on EX Skydrop. Like Devora, he now doesn't have the best armor in the game, but it's a little bit better than what it was.
Yeah.
It's like a 0 out of 10 armor to like a 2 out of 10 armor. He also has less block advantage on EX Rune, but it can be delayed. So the idea, I guess you can explain.
Yeah,
what you're
it
going
is.
for.
You can end your strings into that, and if you wait a couple frames, you can actually make it safe by delaying it instead of just smashing it out. But if you wait even longer, where the player thinks you're not going to delay it, and then if you do it, then you actually be plus on block like you was before. But if the person anticipated you were going to do that, they'd be able to backdash or armor through it. So it's a little bit more of a guessing game, and instead of like fully in his advantage, but he still has it's still a really good tool he can use.
Yeah, and there is a sweet spot where he can get just the right timing to where you have to block it. There's no gap, but he's still slightly advantage.
Yeah.
Or he can, like you said, he can go up straight to being plus 14 like he was before. That's the longest delay.
Yeah, and it's something where if it's near the round ender and you're looking to just ship somebody out, he still has the enhanced skull, which is still the old block advantage. So you can use that with strings and then repeat it.
There's also less hit advantage on a trance. When he hits the trance, Quan Chi takes a little bit more time before he can do something. So
Yeah, and because of that, it will make it where if you choose to summon a bat when the trance is out, you won't be able to continue your combo afterwards. But you will be able to do something like do a bat instantly and then like jail him with the down one, and then they'll force the block that and then send a bat. So it'll make like the combos won't be as big with summoner, but you'll be able to just do different things. Where now you can just end your combos into a knockdown with I think it's a 2-3-1 is the combo that knocks the guy back down, and you can do that into like summon a bat where the guy won't be able to punish you and wake up with a bat, and then you have a bat. So it'll change up your combos a little bit in your general gameplay, and it'll make it where it won't be as frustrating for the victims to just be always have this bat in your face. So.
now Sorcerer, getting out the armored portal spell takes a little bit longer, and there's a change where it no longer, before there was a thing where the armor would refresh if he left and then went back in.
Yeah, and now the armor is just on a straight cooldown, and that cooldown is actually I think a couple frames faster than it was before. But it'll make it where if you take armor when you're in the armor thing, you're just on a cooldown with it, no matter what, whether you leave it or not.
Cool. And the purple spell, it will now actually drain meter on block as well. Before, all of his special moves got buffed when he's standing in the purple portal. Now, only if it hit. Like if I hit you, it drain your meter. Now it drains meter on block, and that includes the trance. The trance will actually drain meter on hit.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's actually that one and also the red ruin is also a lot faster to activate. And there are combos you can do with trance into summon the purple ruin, continue the combo, and then be draining the guy's meter while you're doing the combo. So we'll have some combos that will actually leave the person at less super meter than when you started it.
I personally cannot wait to see a Sorcerer Quan Chi player with that purple rune. I think it's going to be super trolly and awesome in tournament.
Awesome.
Goro.
Lord Goro.
Prince.
Goro doesn't have a lot of improvements, but it's a big improvement if you play Goro. The big thing is his walk speed and his run speed has been noticeably increased.
Yeah, so it'll let him be able to get in a little quicker, and just general. And then once you're within like 3/3 of the screen, you just punch walk.
Yeah, and I think that's good for Goro because Goro was a character that already had some really good tools. It's just his mobility was so limited, and now it's just enough better that I think Goro players will be quite happy. And I think he's the last guy where his big leg, and he's like the king of big legs.
He's got the biggest.
Yeah, that now has more block advantage.
Cool. And the rock star, Tremor.
Tremor's up rock.
The Rockstar, I get
See what I
it.
did?
Oh, it took me a second.
That's because you're looking at your phone.
I'm watching the stream chat.
Tremor's up rock now has a little bit more recovery for him.
Yeah, essentially when you throw the rock up, it'll actually come down like 5 frames faster, or 5 frames slower than it did before, and then after it hits the ground, it's 10 frames more there. So you can't just spam up the up rock as much as it did before. It'll still be plus on block if somebody blocks it. So it's still not something that's like considered ruined, but it's just generally not as plus as it was before.
And in Crystalline, the EX down back 1 down, the low like shatter move, that is now -5 on block, I believe.
I believe it's actually -10. So you can actually.
What?
Ooh.
You just
That-
ruined somebody's
That's
day.
he's absolutely ruined. Oh, and Tremor reminds me of a universal change we forgot, which is with the ground pounds, the unblockables.
Yeah, a lot of the guaranteed setups where you can knock somebody down and then while they're on the ground be able to hit them with unblockable moves like the ground pounds or like the Goro stomp. Those moves will actually continue the combo scaling now. So if you finish a big combo that had like a decent amount of combo scaling on it, and then you hit them with the guaranteed ground pound with any of these characters, that ground pound will actually be combo scaled. But the thing you can do is delay it slightly, where as soon as they can do a backdash or a wake up attack that will have like canceled out your move. Then the damage scaling will actually be reset. Something where it'll be a little bit more fair for players on knockdown to not have to take like a 13% damage constantly. But he can just delay it a little bit, and then you have to guess to get out of it.
And that's all those style of moves, not just Tremor.
Cool.
All right, so that's some of the balance changes,
Yes.
right? I mean, there's still more to come, or to be shown.
Right.
These are I would say the major ones. There's
Yeah.
a little hitbox kind of stuff that the really hardcore guys can.
Yeah, there'll still be a lot of quality of life stuff and
Yeah.
some frame stuff that you guys will be super into that we didn't go through. Those patch notes will be posted early next week whenever we kind of get together and get them all done. So that's it for patch notes.
Lord Paulo has spoken.
Thank you, Paulo. Thank you, Steve. We do have a bit of a